it's growing. Our followers, people are starting to catch on that we're on Twitter. Hey, we got to be everywhere. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We might even do Snapchat. Yeah. Snapchat. See, I don't use it, but a lot of people do. So we might even expand it. But we know that there are people there, and if we can reach more people, that would be terrific. So more places, certainly the better. Stories. Everybody says, give me stories about Chuck Harder. What kind of stories could I tell you? Well, Chuck has been a huge pet lover. And just before he went to a nursing home, he had a huge Great Dane. And, he was a horse. We really, really loved him. And Chuck used to have one when he was a boy. And so I guess he decided to get another one. He has since passed away. He was up there. Sonny was his name. Chuck named him, of course. But I asked Chuck the last time I was in the nursing home, I said, Chuck, out of all the dogs and cats, and did you have any favorites? And Peaches, you may remember the I think it was Golden Retriever. Peaches was her name, and we'd call her Woovie Dog too, because he had a nickname for her. But she used to follow Chuck into the studio every single day. He'd drive in with his white diesel from his house in White Springs to the Telford. And Miss Helen, she'd work the front desk, and she was like the matriarch, if you will, of the Telford. Nice lady. She's passed away since. All the good people have passed. But she'd have water and food all ready for Peaches as the dog would come into the studio. And she would just sit there, lay down, sleep. She wouldn't make any noise, but she was a good dog, and Chuck just loved her to pieces. Beautiful dog, loved animals, and they had one too many cats, I'd have to say. They're the only people. They had cats, dogs, and birds. What a combination. And the cats never ate the birds because Diane, Chuck's wife, she since passed. It would make sure that they were good and in the cage. But they were all well taken care of. And, these animals would find them, but she would take them to the vet. They would all get their shots. They'd all eat well. And they were just beautiful animals. And there were some favorite cats of Chuck's. There was one that Chuck found on the roadside. For whatever reason, I think one day, as Chuck tells the story, he was kind of looking for some property in his diesel. It was a white diesel. I think it was a Bonneville. And he had his windows down, and he heard this kind of like crying noise coming from the woods. And, well, anyways, he shut his car off, and then he could pretty much determine where the sound was coming from. He called to the cat. The cat came, and it was shivering, it was shaking, and lived with Chuck for at least 15 years. And she recently passed. But this is the kind of guy, big teddy bear kind of a guy. Just loved animals and loved people. And Chuck reminds me a lot of my dad. He would take care of everybody else, but he didn't take the best care of himself, unfortunately. Chuck, always bigger than life on the air, but bigger than life in real life. His persona a little bigger than average. Weight, everybody would be on him. It's Chuck, you need to lose some weight. You need some weight. Well, the weight, kind of caught up with him. Unfortunately, clogged his arteries, clogged his heart, and caused him several heart attacks and almost several strokes. We got him to Gainesville many times, thankfully, with heroics, because Lake City did not want to bring him to Gainesville, but I demanded on it, and they found things that Lake City didn't, but that's why Chuck's alive. A lot of people thought Chuck would have been dead long ago, but he's alive and well, as well as can be. His mind is sharp. Can you relate? You get older. My mother used to tell me this. She says, there's things that happen where your mind is young. And some people say that the eyes never get old. But the mind is sharp. I mean, you can sit there and go over a whole lifetime of things that you did. But you know what really matters at the end of the day? It's people that still care about you, still think about you, still ask about you, still visit, still willing to spend money. That's about $100 every time I go there. Gas, to and from, food, because you don't walk in without food for Chuck. He's got to have a little bite to eat. Nursing home food is disgusting. No disrespect. They might make it that way, bland and cheap, but it's just not very good. So, and a little something to leave off with him, but, it means the world to him, and it lights up his world. And Chuck can tell stories, like, better than anybody, because of his life, his experiences, things that he's done, and he's done a little of everything throughout his life. That's what made him so interesting as a talk show host, is the life that he lived and things that he did. And I've had the chance to tell many of his stories, and I'd like to hear many more of those. And he wants to write about them, and that's why we want to give him this iPad Pro. It's the best one, because it's the biggest one and the fastest one. And, when you get old, your eyes don't, you got to have something that's bright, something that's bigger, and this would be perfect for him. And I'm going to show him how to use it. Yeah. And he'll be up and running. If anybody has used one of these, you know how easy it is, and how connected you can be to the world around you. And that's exactly what we want to do, is connect the world around him with this iPad Pro. So can you help out right now at forthepeopleshow.com? We're spending today, and I'm really hoping that there's enough good people out there that have listened to my broadcast for over 2.5 years, that I've done this without a paycheck, on a very shoestring budget. We pull in maybe a couple $100 a month in donations. That's it. That might seem a lot to you, but that is supposed to pay our electric, our internet bill, our rent, where we have our studio, coffee and all. It just doesn't begin to make the mark. Our website, it just doesn't. But folks, we believe in this country, and we believe that you have to have a platform that's honest and free. And to do that, listener supported enables you to be able to not be squelched by the program director, who sits there and edits everything that you're going to go ahead and go on the air about, especially with key issues that are conservative. Oh, don't say that you're against abortion. Don't do that. Well, I am, but I have good reason to be. Yeah, it's a conservative value. I have some more on that, by the way, where there's a new party that might be started by Rosie O'Donnell. Could it be? Oh, God forbid. She's nasty. She's very nasty. They called Janet Jackson Miss Nasty. She's nasty. Anyways, here's the opportunity for you to go right now to our website. I'm going to play a song right now, more of Greg Long, but I believe that everything is going to be all right, because you are going to go right now to the website and make a difference at forthepeopleshow.com.
What can I say when faith slips away into doubt, and the fear that I feel is incredibly real, and there's no way out. Everything is shaken, hope is almost taken, but there's something making me say I'm good, I'm fine, but I've seen better days. Make me say Father's plan. I'll weather this storm, safe in the warmth of my Father's hand. Through the healing stages, I will stand courageous, though the hurting rages in me. I'm good, I'm fine, but I've seen better days. Maybe say a prayer when you think of me. Oh, I could use some help when you're on your knees. The Lord is kind. I know He's gonna see me through. Everything is gonna be alright. There is trouble on every side, but I'm not broken. I have been struck down, but I am not destroyed. Persecuted, but I'm not abandoned. My hope is in the Lord. My hope is in the Lord. I'm good, I'm fine, but I've seen better days. Maybe say a prayer when you think of me. Oh, I could use some help when you're on your knees. The Lord is kind. I know He's gonna see me through. Everything is gonna be alright. Oh, everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright.
That's exactly what your donation will do today, because Chuck will say to himself, everything is going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And I'm believing that, folks, that there are people out there that today is going to be such a day that God is going to speak to just the right heart or hearts out there that can make the difference today for an individual that deserves to have this blessing and needs it, and will continue to make a difference in the world around him. So let's make this happen today, shall we? forthepeopleshow.com is where you can go right now and make that donation for my friend Chuck Harder, who gave me an opportunity as a young man to work for him at the Telford Hotel when I was in my 20s. My dad was the president of the network for about 3 months, had a heart attack. Chuck was very kind afterwards, stayed on for many, many years. And Chuck was just been a terrific guy altogether. Made things special for me, took me under his wing, allowed me to go on the air and do a computer talk show and sit in for Mike Siegel and several well-known talk show hosts today like Armstrong Williams out of Washington, D.C., a black conservative voice. Armstrong Williams, great guy, but sat in for many great talk show hosts. And if it wasn't for Chuck, I just probably would not have continued on in talk. And I've worked for a lot of companies since then. Salem Communications. I worked for Clear Channel. Gosh, I know there's another one. Cumulus. Yeah, I've worked for Cumulus Broadcasting. So several groups through the years, 8 years here, 6 years there, and been doing the For the People for about 2.5 years, if not a little bit more than that. And today, we think we're doing something quite worthwhile, and that is to make the difference in somebody's life that needs the help. And that's why we're on the air. And I hope this doesn't sound like one giant infomercial or anything like that, because it's not intended to. It's just this foolishness is the only way, if you will, that we can